Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Book of Dawn, IOTH Academy. I am Tormented by Gnomes. I'll be your game master today. Joining me, we've got Crowan, Leg Day, Lemon Kiwi, and Anacra. Crowan, what's going on with you? How are things?
Things are doing okay, hanging in there. I finally stopped putting off scheduling a hair appointment, so next week I should have different hair. Should have dreads finally. So
wake up, honey. New Crowan hair just dropped.
Exactly. And now when we see all the clips and the replays, it'll be really different once again. So yeah,
it's like that's the only way I can keep track of where we are in the show is by your hair.
It's the Crowan dread arc now.
Exactly. Leg Day, what's going on, bud? How you holding out over there?
Okay, I'm looking forward to the next installment in the hair arc that we all have across our multiple highlights in our pre-package. It's always interesting seeing the different aesthetic configurations that we've gone for as a team.
But at least we have an aesthetic, right?
True.
That's half the battle. Lemon Kiwi, how are things going on? How are you? I haven't seen you in a while.
Oh yeah, it's only been yesterday. Are we gonna ignore the fact that you just threw a cat, or?
I did not. Okay, I did not throw the cat. I gently lifted the cat and deposited the cat. This was not an alinity situation. All right.
Oh no!
Great. I will be reporting this to us.
Roll a 1d100. You just said the name.
The name
Somewhere.
She
He rolled a 100 flat dude. Somewhere Alyxander has spoken up like, I've been summoned.
Oh my god!
Necra, somehow I blame this on you.
It's my fault. It's always my fault. Some way, somehow, it is my fault. It's Arianna's fault. One of the two.
Oh my god. Well, how are you? Aside from casting a spell of doom upon the entire episode, how are things going?
Good. If I did cast that, I deserve it. But right now, I do not see it, so it's fine. Everything's fine.
And if I can't see it, it can't hurt me. Those are the rules.
Yes.
Okay. Speaking of which, we now revisit our heroes, attendees at IOTH Academy, the greatest institute of magical learning in the four kingdoms of Anacra. When last we left them, it was yet another tumultuous day. And it ended with our young heroes breaking into the student archive room to take a peek at some unauthorized records that they should not have had access to at all. They barely managed to avoid being busted by the wardens and managed to make their way back to bed. That night, as everybody's settling down for sleep, Crowan, remind me how Mason is doing.
where did we leave off exactly? It was so everyone just kind of departed from the
yeah, everyone was going to bed.
Watching. Okay,
Everyone was going to bed.
Gotcha. Then, I mean, I suppose Mason would make his way back to his room after maybe checking in with Sventisco, if possible. Firstly, apologizing for sorry to use the stone, and then things happened right after. That was really bad timing. So sorry about that. Did you get what you needed? Get what you're looking for?
She nods. I got a complete copy of my records, and I didn't leave any traces. I'm going to see what they have on me.
Okay, good. If you need me for anything else, let me know.
She gives you a
Stay
kiss
safe.
on the cheek and says, you know, the stone will be good by morning. Don't worry about it.
I know. Thanks. And we'll give her a kiss on the cheek back and go to bed. Oh yeah,
Bed.
Mason got yelled at by the warden because he. Oh yeah.
You got Dad Warden went off on him.
right.
Uncle Wholesome.
Warden Flanders.
Yeah, Mason would meditation kind of ritual before bed and kind of drift off eventually after.
I swear to God, I thought you said meditage, and I was like, you internet poisoned fool, you need to unplug. This has gone too far.
Honestly, I might as well have. I need that emote. Just a famous meditating.
Meditage.
Meditage.
Athalor, after an extremely eventful evening, you are back in your empty room how are you settling in for the night?
Since Athalor only needs 4 hours of sleep, he's going to spend a considerable chunk of the night having a little peruse through that book. The book of, I believe, Infernal Battle Tactics, which was authored by one of Uzul's generals.
Yes,
Or Uzul
yes.
himself.
Okay, roll a history or investigation check, your choice.
Let's hit that history.
Ooh, fatty.
I speak Infernal.
Okay. You've learned a great deal about infernal battle tactics. The Iron Empire is the best example of infernal battle tactics, and they divide up their armies into a few different sort of ranks and file, and they rely heavily on discipline and coordination in order to pull off their maneuvers. The way that they do things, let me pull this up real quick. All right. So they are divided into fodder legions and spear legions. Fodder legions are just conscripts, lower fiends, poor saps who have been taken from their homes and are sent forward to die en masse. They're used to deplete enemy resources. They always send them in first just to wear people down before they send in the real troops. One of the most common sentences, if you're sentenced to death in the Iron Empire, is that you're assigned to one of the fodder legions, herded out, driven forward as much as lead. Then you have the spear legions. Each legion is up to 10,000 warriors. They're strictly regimented into different divisions. They're full-time professional soldiers. They undergo rigorous training and drills in combat formations. Much of the output of the Iron Empire is dedicated to weapons and armor. And they have specially assigned battle mage detachments that will attach themselves to a spear legion to use artillery magic in order to lay waste to their enemies. So overall, when it comes to the Iron Empire, their tactic is to flood you with overwhelming numbers, and then send in the real troops once you're exhausted and not give you a break.
Nifty.
That's what you're going to learn about tonight. Go ahead.
Does it say where they're like centers of industry for these different kinds of weapons are?
Well, that's the thing. There are many provinces in the Iron Empire, and they're not all even connected to each other. So this is like the rule book that they hand out whenever they start a new province.
Okay.
The closest province to you is IOTH to the north. And with access to a map, you might be able to do some research and figure out where the most important centers of industry are. But this, again, is designed to be used by any of the provinces across the entire world.
Just a generalized military dogma.
Yeah, it's because technically, even if two provinces of the Iron Empire are thousands of miles apart on different continents and surrounded by enemies, they're all part of the same empire, and they all answer to Uzul as their god emperor. And so and as he's the destroyer, he's the tyrant, he's the conqueror. So he set forth the dogma of battle, and they are often able to summon hordes and hordes of lesser pathetic fiends, devils and demons, to send as part of the fodder legions. And the spear legions often include devils and demons trained and fighting alongside mortals or leading mortals into combat.
Does the book detail any of the summoning rituals?
No, this is not a book of summons. This is a book of... Another thing, though, is that right now, you often don't need a summons, because fiends can move freely between the worlds of their own volition. Not all of them can, but many of them can. Any other questions on that?
No, I'm good. I'm just
Okay.
putting down in case I have to ask in the future that we got the good roll on me.
Noted. Arianna, after you gave Garnet some of the Mordain Vapor tea to help her sleep, and you dumped it out for her to make sure that she wasn't poisoned, and she settled down into her dreamful reverie, how did you turn in for the night?
Well, I waited like 10-15 minutes to see like how she was doing. I'm going to assume, based on what backstory Garnet gave us, or Beloved Kiwi gave us before we went live, that she had a very wonderful dream about Cyrus shirtless, that I might just see like a sly smile on her face as she's like
Cheeks
sleeping.
flushed.
Yeah. And so like I'll assume like she's okay and she's having like a nice dream. And so I'll just like go to bed, I guess, and try to focus on sleeping.
Okay. No more than 30 minutes later, because time works differently in the dream realm. Garnet, you awaken. The last thing you remember was a hand upon your shoulder and a voice that spoke a single word that tore your mind apart in an infinite, empty, utterly desolate void. It is with that image burned into your mind and yet unharmed by this experience, your will, your resilience sufficient to endure what you've just beheld. You awaken with a start. Arianna is how long does it take her to fall asleep?
Probably not too long. So like after she's probably like hitting like deep sleep by the time that Garnet's woken up.
All right. When you wake up with a start, there's a profound, gentle snoring coming from your roommate.
And I think that snoring is that nice reminder that Arianna is still there. So she kind of like sits up and takes a second to process a lot of what just happened, along with the confusion of the mysterious figure at the end of the dream. And then decides to get out of her bed and get into Arianna's bed and snuggle. Big spoon moment. And then fall asleep.
All right. The next morning is a school day, as Warden Flanders did in fact warn you. Is this a day that you want to let pass and cycle through time and get closer to your fateful field trips and your further progression in the school? Or do we have business we want to attend to specifically today? It's the last school day of the week.
Are there any rumors about what Untermola ended up agreeing to with Vasily Court?
Good question.
Especially since I'm probably the one who's seeing him most if he's teaching.
Yes. No, there is some information about that. Give me one moment. I think a bad button happened. That happens to me sometimes. All right, it's fixed. All right.
Well, I would like to know too, I think, what happened with Untermaller's discussion with Gubasif 2? Gubasif?
Tubasif?
Because did we ever get
That hasn't followed. That was today.
closure?
That was all today. Like,
Yeah.
that was last night.
Oh.
When you wake up, that was literally last night.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
It's you guys broke into the freaking records office immediately after that.
On the
Oh
way
my
back.
God, you're right.
Yeah. There's a lot.
That feel where we could be expedient with a campaign, but crimes.
That entire episode was not planned at all. All
Very
right.
funny.
Untermaler hasn't addressed the student body at large just yet because he's been focusing on the Fey students, because there are students studying here who are either Fey themselves or at least have Fey heritage. He's been meeting with them first. The agreement that he made was as follows. Seelie Fey cannot bewitch, transform, or enchant students or personnel of the academy. So no more turning into chickens.
Yay!
Students and personnel cannot harm Seelie Fey. So no more slaughtering invisible pixies.
Yay!
Boo.
Oh, wait, boo.
Any breach of this agreement will result in penalties enacted against the transgressor.
So no genocide?
So no genocide? Seelie Fey are now allowed to enter the academy, but if they cause excessive disruption, individual Fey can be banished for 16 days. And any Seelie Fey prisoners that the academy was holding have been released and returned.
Prisoners?
Untermaler has a bag that has a layer. Yeah, the satyr bag.
The bag of satyrs.
Mm-hmm.
He got that bag.
Mm-hmm. He got that bag.
To vaguely quote that which must not be named, is there a place in IOTH Academy that could be described as having trolls in the dungeon? Do we have a dungeon?
Roll investigation or history, my friend.
Where's IOTH's dungeon?
The containment vaults.
Damn.
It is
That'll
said that
sound
the
good.
containment vaults are inside the body of the spire, with no physical doors leading in or out. They're only accessible via specific teleportation links. There's no physical entrances to it whatsoever. The exact location is unknown. It's affected by private sanctum spells, which blocks scrying and divination. And it's said to hold creatures that have been imprisoned or sealed and powerful artifacts deemed too dangerous or valuable to be left lying around.
Was Tarsamor's vault considered one of these?
What was that?
Was Tarsamor's vault considered a containment vault?
No, because the Academy didn't make that one on purpose. Tarsamor made that one. It's kind of rogue.
Incidental vault.
Yeah, a rogue vault, an unauthorized vault.
You got a permit for that vault, mate?
A permit's a permit. So them's the breaks. That's the news on the Untermaler front. And the Streamloots cards are already flying in. It's going to be a fun day.
Oh boy.
It's gonna be a busy day.
It's going to be a busy day. All right. So does anybody have a specific agenda for the day?
I did want to check in with Elle now. I'm totally down if the party wants to be there because it's probably going to discuss about the Brontha matters super quick.
Okay, after school or before classes?
After school.
Okay. Anyone else? I'm cooking up a nasty surprise, but it's going to take me a moment. Anyone else have a specific agenda for the day?
Not too much. Just Athalor continues trying to tap into whatever magic he can post nerfing, and obviously goes to get mind blanked by the sage, but it's probably pretty routine.
That'll be after classes. As everybody sits down in your spell matrices class, Ibris Golm, the stern orc, he's a fat orc. He's got white hair. He's from the Stone Abbey. Paces back and forth. He's your teacher of spell matrices, and he has a surprise for you. It's a quiz to get everybody warmed up for midterms when they come down the line. After all, you're starting to. Everybody has gotten access to third level spells earlier than expected. So to make sure that there are no unfortunate accidents, he wants everybody to take a quiz on spell matrices.
Oh, good.
All right. And the quiz is so unexpected and so startling that all of you must roll a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of the quiz.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. What happens if you're frightened from the quiz? You just shit yourself.
You have disadvantage on your checks.
Oh, no.
We're all scared.
Oh,
All right.
I'm so scared.
Quiz are the scariest thing at IOTH Academy.
Right? That and public speaking.
Arianna's the one that's chilling.
Of everybody, Arianna is the only one who's cool with this, unless people want to blow luck dice or inspiration. Athalor, you have one inspiration from chat.
Okay, I'll blow the inspiration. I feel like Arianna's just like looking up from like a croissant, like what?
I feel like that's just so in line with her character, though.
Oh,
that,
it's
she's
even
so
worse.
used to being nervous about stuff.
But wait, it gets worse.
I must not
Well, like,
fear.
not like-
Fear is the mind killer. Is anybody else throwing anything at this or no?
Nah.
Okay. Everybody except Arianna is frightened during the quiz. The first part of the quiz requires either an intelligence arcana check to draw out a complex spell matrix or a sleight of hand check to physically enact the model of a spell matrix.
Okay,
Go-
so disadvantage for the frightened people, yes.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Give me those rolls.
Come on,
Oh,
what is happening?
Quizzes suck.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Can
no.
we be excused? Like, we've been through some shit.
I missed it.
Can I cheat?
Yeah, I think you can cheat. How would you cheat? During
Look
quizzes,
at Athalor's answers and get them all wrong anyway.
Can I? Could we use lucky dice? to
Yeah, you
replace
can
our
use lucky
lowest
dice.
roll?
yeah,
And then we
abs-
take the lower roll of the two that are left.
yeah. Then you pick the two you want to select from. If you use a luck point,
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll use the luck point here to avoid the natty one.
Is Arianna recognizing at this point that that
incredible.
people are suffering?
Yes, the aura of despair that is filling the room is palpable.
I feel like if DM will allow it, Arianna is the type of person like she will do weird things to try to get through a quiz. Like maybe she'll like map it out in front of her in order to like visualize it on a bigger picture. So she'll like, if acceptable, she sees this, she'll start like making gestures in the air very slowly with like trying to figure out the answers.
Roll a deception check, please.
To help friend.
Yes. It's going to be
Arianna.
one of those episodes.
Keep
those to yourself.
What are you talking about?
If that's your process, I can raise an illusion for you, but no showing the rest of the group your work. Do you need an illusion?
I don't think I don't think I'm going to be able to help people. You've seen my grades.
Roll. Nah, you know what? He's just going to go ahead and cast a minor illusion. He puts you in the box of shame, which doesn't actually do anything. All it does is prevent other people from seeing you.
Aww.
Is it one way or two way?
It's two-way. She can't see out or in. No one can see out or in.
She's in the testing box.
You have been placed in the testing box. All right. After a catastrophic first part, Garnet and Athalor bombed it, and Arianna and Mason failed it. But there's two halves to the quiz, so
Oh, good.
we're not necessarily, totally screwed unless you roll a natural one, in which case you're kind of screwed. All right. For part 2, you can either do a dexterity acrobatics check if you're one of the, like, Renobi does dancing to create her matrices, so you can use acrobatics, or you can use athletics. So you can use acrobatics, athletics. I actually made this really complicated. Okay, first off, acrobatics or athletics?
If they could use dance, why can't I use performance?
Can I use my brain in any capacity?
Eventually, yes.
Oh, I
fuck.
just got bogged by the box.
I'd like to think that like everyone just sees like Arianna boom head come out. Where's my disadvantage? There it is. Acrobatics or athletics? Oh, they're both terrible. So boom.
Oh my god.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
okay.
See? I got a good roll too. That's my worst stat.
My brain no work, but feet good.
All right. Arianna has now bombed that part. Let's move on to the last part, which is either an insight check for the mental part of the matrix, where it has to fit into your mind, or a constitution saving throw, which is using your body to contain the energies and pattern of the spell matrix.
Uh-oh.
You don't on a saving throw, you don't have disadvantage.
Oh, Pog.
Wait,
15.
okay, I changed my mind. Wait, can I?
I'll let you spend a resource to change your mind.
Fuck. Just bomb me out. Just get me out of here.
This has been a disaster.
Okay. Nobody has good things to say. All of your grades have dropped as a result of this.
This is bullshit.
I'm telling Elle now.
doesn't get boss.
Okay. Significantly stressed out by this entire state of affairs, a dampened, defeated, and depressed group of students emerges from Ibris Golm's grasp.
Oh,
Well, that was horse shit,
why doesn't my brain work?
respectfully.
They put me in a box.
A box of shame.
I feel ashamed.
How did you do, Arianna?
I definitely failed.
Did she?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what? I thought she did like 2 out of the 3
No,
rolls.
so, no. Everybody at best got 1 out of 3, and everybody got at least 1 natural 1. Except
Yep.
Mason, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, you were just a consistent failure, so
Hey.
congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's even
but
better, honestly.
Nobody passed. Nobody passed that.
Man, we were up so late last night.
The
It's fine. It's probably worth only a small amount.
Well, true.
So-
He just said it was preparing for the midterms, right? So midterms still we're yet to fuck those up.
True.
There's
Actually,
always a
is it
chance
finals?
Yes.
I think it's going to be finals. Yeah. Not preparing for the midterms, preparing for the finals. My bad.
Oh.
Plus 1 grades.
For incorrect information. No. Nearby, you can hear pipe music, the same music that wafted in and distracted students during important tests in years past, but without the tint of enchantment behind it. Out on the
Sounds
top
like
deck of
satyrs.
Tarselmore, out on the top deck of Tarselmore, on that opening landing platform, a group of satyrs are playing music, pipes and fiddles, dancing, and they've got a cask of wine open.
Underage drinking in my institution?
You know, it's medieval times. It doesn't matter.
But like the French,
Prepared.
like
Exactly.
Sorry?
Exactly.
That's wine time.
They are clearly inviting you. You look stressed. Forget about it.
We should go.
We should?
How many classes do we have left today?
A few.
Mason, you're our moral compass. Should we go?
I suppose you need a moral compass, huh?
Yeah,
what do you mean by that?
I could fit that role. Hopefully. Do you usually partake in things like this? Is this?
Well, there was that
Um,
drinking horn.
Yeah, we all partook in that. I think this could be a great bonding exercise, and also I don't want to remember what just happened.
That
Me neither.
that's fair. Distractions
was
are good sometimes.
Humiliating.
I'll keep a look over you. Make sure you don't go overboard.
And then we'll watch you when you drink too.
Oh, designated Mason, the DM.
The DM. That is me.
All right.
Okay, let's-
You go in. They welcome you in. They're celebrating the newfound peace between the Sealy Court and IOTH Academy. They want to get to know everybody as, as neighbors, not as enemies, not messing with you, all that stuff. Here, have a drink. Everybody get in on this.
Do they have spare instruments like a lyre?
Yeah, they do.
Og. I try and pick up the lyre.
Okay. They're not going to take
Put me
it
down.
from
It's bad joke.
you. I get it. All right. Do you want to hit the strings? Roll perform.
Yeah, I'll just vaguely like backup chords for them,
All right. Go for it. Okay.
Ooh.
Decent. Very good. Very good. 21. All right. They immediately raise glasses to you and start just, and their hooves are clattering in time. They don't even need tap shoes to do the whole river dance thing, clattering around up top. How are the rest of you partaking?
Can I smell the wine to smell how expensive it is?
Yeah, absolutely.
modes.
Roll a perception check. With advantage because you have the noble background.
Fuck.
True.
I mean, you were
And
never
the cold.
you were still pretty young, and they didn't want you to have a lot of wine, so you never actually picked up on all the ins and outs of that stuff.
And then tastes it and just drinks with the fam.
All right. Mason, Arianna, what about you two?
I think Mason's more so, at least at the start, just watching the rest of them is like, okay, if they're getting up to some stuff, it's gonna be bad probably. So I gotta make sure I'm watching.
Roll perception or insight to be a good guard.
Sure. Insight. Oh, 25.
They don't seem to be messing with you, but they do seem to be messing with people who walk by them and refuse to come hang out. No magic, just things like tying shoelaces together, that kind of stuff.
Okay, I think if anyone like gets really pissed off by that, Mason would like intervene and try to mediate. But if they're just like stupid satyrs or whatever, go off and just like leave it be.
All
That's
right.
fine.
What about Arianna?
I think Arianna would join Garnet to have a drink or two, and then I think at some point she might lose some amount of filter to know what a good idea and a bad idea is, and will use fairy fire.
Okay.
To
just
make
to,
things look pretty.
all right, sweet. You've got, strawberry fields forever floating around and glowing on all sides. Awesome. Mason, do you ever like actually join in dancing or drinking or anything like that?
If it's eventually, yeah, I think Mesa would like start would sip on a drink after a good little while, making sure that like it's a okay situation. People aren't going super overboard or anything.
All right. Things rapidly escalate as you're swept up in just the supernatural fun of a Seelie Fae party. I would like each of you to roll 1d8, please.
Okay, there's both spectrums of stuff happening here.
Right in the middle.
Low, good, and in the middle.
Okay. All right.
Lads. Not one, lads.
Oh my God.
Low is good, right? Copium?
It's like golf rules.
All right.
Yeah.
Mason and Athalor, swept up along in the fey magic of this party, said something particularly heinous about the professor who just dropped a pop quiz on them. Something incredibly insulting and a little bit louder than you intended.
Cancelled.
About Mason and Athalor, TL doesn't read. What level spell is Twit longer?
Okay. Garnet, by the time all of this is over, you have blown 100 gold pieces on fine wine, gifts, and all sorts of things, which has made you much more popular and significantly less rich.
Oh. Okay, I'm deducted. Around on me, everyone!
Shots.
Playing the liar. Also, that professor.
Here's $100. You did so good, Mr. Liar.
And Arianna, somebody walking nearby who didn't intend to be part of the party, had a panic attack when the fairy fire was on them and ran screaming and jumped off into the water below to try to extinguish themselves.
Big kill.
They survived. They did not die, but neither are they particularly pleased with you.
How do they know it was me?
Roll a
responsible
stealth
for
or
this
deception
fire.
check, please.
They're both bad, so
Ooh, they do not.
Hell yeah.
it wasn't me.
Blame it on
Why would Christ do this?
Yeah.
Okay, stumbling away from the party. Things clearly got out of hand, but the satyrs are all very pleased. They're very happy with you. The Sealy court is a little bit more pleased with you, and hopefully the hangovers won't be too bad.
Nice.
And after that, no more surprises yet. You're welcome to track down Elle now, any other business. You can attend your after-school studies that everybody's going to. You can have your oniromancy classes with the sage. Does anyone specifically want to speak with along the way? I know Garnet said Elle now. Did anyone else? Sig?
In addition to...
Just to continue your training, or do you have anything you want to talk about with Sig?
I wanted to meet with like Sig and Redknop. One,
Okay.
to make sure Redknop was okay, but also to ask about, to tell him about the problem.
Okay. So you want to meet Arianna, meet with Sig and Redknop to discuss the problem.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any agenda items? I want to put them all down and then go through them one at a time.
I don't remember if Mason already talked to the sage about the mirror stuff that he saw and told Sventisco about.
I don't recall, but you'd like to do that?
Yeah, Mason would want
Okay.
to do that.
All right. Athalor, Garnet, any agenda items?
Athalor's going to go early to the Mind Blank appointment and ask the Sage. Well, he's going to tell the Sage about the bad test result in spell matrices and ask if he can stay in the room and practice them with the quill again, because he used to be very good at them. But now he's poo-poo.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. A lot of that was being offloaded to a third party. So she's definitely happy to let you sort of relearn a new technique, a new method, starting to channel this rune magic through these methods instead. Roll an Arcana check for me, please, Athalor.
No whammies.
Ooh.
You can have back one of your cantrips.
Hooray!
Yay!
Let's go!
No longer powered by the psychic energy of Uncle, but now powered by the new arts that you've been learning and the runes that you've been inscribing.
Nice. I don't have any way to mark cantrips and these shit because it's supposed to be forever. Okay, yeah. Cool.
All right. Let's see. Garnet, did you want to meet with the whole party and Elle now?
I figured if everyone's having their private meetings, then I'll just have mine private too then. Because
Okay.
it might get argumentative and awkward.
Fair. Okay. All right. And you didn't talk with anybody at dinner or lunch or anything about last night, right, Garnet?
Not yet.
Okay. Do you want to before that meeting or after?
Probably will say something to Arianna like before bed, but
Okay.
I don't think anything too important.
All right. Let's go to Arianna then. As you're meeting with Redknop, who has recovered. He is on the mend. This is an occupational hazard. A lot of you are going to meet in Redknop's office. Sig seems incredibly large and out of place here. Against all the cozy, soft, sort of warm, dark colors of Redknop's office. And Sig is just huge, standing, like looming over all this dwarf-sized furniture. You did exactly what I hoped that you would, Arianna.
Oh, good.
Ring the bell. All is going to be well.
The bleeding stopped?
Yeah, yes. It's
Okay.
a little bit of a ringing in my ears still, but that will go with time. The apothecary has me on a very good regimen.
Oh, good. Good, okay. Well, I have a new problem.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you heard, but there was a fire in the grove, which was my fault, and I also summoned a fire elemental, which was my fault, and I tried to put it out, but then I summoned a water elemental. 2 of them, I think. I summoned a Marid and I summoned a water elemental.
Oh. Okay, I did hear about this.
Yeah, that was me. I don't know if anybody else knows that, though.
That is a problem. And what kind of help are you looking for? How do you need my assistance?
Well, I don't know if you could put two and two together of like we asked the question that sent you on the mend, and now I also, in some amount of period, created a larger problem with similar energy,
Well,
same but different.
more different than the same, Arianna.
Okay.
I was reaching to far off places. You were reaching into the very core of this world, into the wellspring, where the elements are renewed, rejuvenated, broken down, and sent flowing back up to sustain our world. Your power is deeply connected to that place. We've already talked about that. We've learned that your very circumstances of birth were within that place. So it follows that you would have a powerful conduit to the wellspring. And perhaps the difficulty you've experienced your whole life with controlling it is simply because of the profound depth of that connection. Most wizards strive over time to learn how to form a spell matrix that will connect them to the underworld to draw upon those powers. For you, it's instinctive. It's almost too easy.
Okay, well that makes sense, because I'm not good at normal spell matrices. I learned that today. Actually, I've been aware of that all year, but very painfully aware of that today.
Homework?
Pop quiz. Yeah.
Before
put me
you
in a
ask,
box.
I cannot use my powers of divination to warn you when there's a pop quiz coming. I'm sorry. It's part of my employment here.
Damn it. It was part of it. Okay, well, but that's the more important thing is, who do I talk to about getting this under control? Because Sig, I don't think it's your job.
Sig will, because Redknop's been doing most of the talking, Sig will, I'll do what I can, but Redknop ponders for a moment. Getting this under control. I think first off, understanding. That's always my solution. If I don't know how to do something, I just need to learn more about it. Ask the right questions of the right person in the right place. Perhaps we could ask of the world. Ask the tableau who best you could inquire. We could ask of that, or we could get some more questions narrowing down the nature of this power and how you can come to terms with it. What would be the most helpful now?
Oh, just something to make sure I don't do it again. Something tells me that warring elementals on campus is not a good thing.
No. And especially not given our past history with that particular bunch.
Yeah, the Mara didn't seem very happy. I don't know anything else about it.
You recall
What?
anything that he said? I wasn't there. Oh, I can get a full report, but I just wanted to check if you recall anything specifically that he said.
Something about a guy named Dubussy?
Guy.
Yeah, who's that?
Somebody who rubbed IOTH the wrong way a long time ago. It's an old grudge. That's the problem with these great dynasties of the elementals. They don't understand the way that mortals work, and that what somebody's great ancestor did may not necessarily morally fall upon them, but immortality has a way of messing with your mind.
Oh, he's immortal.
Yes. Not invulnerable, but immortal, yes. The greatest elementals, the genies and such, they are imbued with a little bit of the light of dawn, and theoretically they can endure indefinitely, unless they're destroyed.
Could an infernal presence destroy them?
Well, yes, certainly. Or worse.
Noted. Noted.
All right. I think I know what I'm going to do, Arianna. And he's going to set out the little tablets of the tableau on the table in front of him. He takes out a censer and starts to burn some incense, very expensive stuff, and lays it all out, shuts his eyes, places his hands on top of the porcelain tiles for a moment, just takes several deep breaths. All right. How can Arianna control her magic so none come to unintended harm? And then he flips over a bunch of the cards one by one, a bunch of the tiles one by one. From life return to birth. Where did you say you were from, Arianna?
Well, the refuge.
Right, Lasser Refuge. No, they're renowned for their fire weaving. It's an unusual art. It's more intuitive, almost more of a craft than a form of magic, yet both at the same time. I wonder perhaps if it was a disservice to part you from their methods, which aren't taught as much at this school. Maybe a journey home would behoove you, but from life return to birth, you were born in the very underworld itself.
Yes.
And perhaps it is there that you could come to terms with this power. But a third thing, a tale of your birth. Your mother was not alone, yes?
No, I don't think so. I think there
Who-
was someone with her that she struck the deal with when she was in the underworld.
And those are the three things I can think of. It's either returning to your home you grew up in, returning to the underworld where your power derives, or finding the one who was present at your birth, who may know more even of these secrets. I know that's a
Okay.
lot of choices, but I'm going to let you mull that over, think about that for a bit, and
Well, do you think it'd be possible for me to go on the underworld field trip that's gonna happen?
I'm...
Your otherworldly studies?
I mean, you are slated for the otherworld field trip, but he idly tugs at a complicated amulet around his neck that seems to be, it consists of multiple spheres and rings in layers around each other. He sort of taps at it. They seem to be in the business of making exceptions for you and your friends these days. Let me speak with some people. I think we can arrange for that.
Sounds good.
Very
Sure.
good.
Yeah.
And all you'd need to do is to prepare for that expedition. You may need to get a little bit caught up since you haven't been taking that particular course, but underworld studies. You were in otherworld studies, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yes.
feel like we've gotten a lot of that here at the school.
Yes, firsthand.
Yeah. And I'm from the underworld, so I feel like I meet the requirements.
Oh, no. It's not. Nobody's going to block you, Arianna. I'm simply saying for your own edification, to get the most out of this, it may behoove you to get caught up. You're not going to have to take their test or anything like that. This is just for your own enlightenment.
Okay, good. Good, okay. I'm in.
Excellent. I'll make the necessary arrangements. Sig, you're a teacher advisor. You can sign off on this as well, right? Sig will nod. Very good. Does that put your heart at ease?
Closer.
I'll take it. All right. And then, barring any objections, Sig will go ahead and walk you back.
I'm all set.
All right.
Personally, I'm looking forward to the Arianna kills all the genies in the world arc by throwing Infernals at them.
Yeet.
My God, I hold all this infernal influence.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mason, when Athalor is done getting his brain erased and practicing very painfully to reawaken the pathways of magic within his own soul, you are granted an audience with the sage.
All right. I think, Mason, wait until Athalor is done. Maybe, see Athalor leave. Say everything all okay with you? Go well?
Getting better. Earlier was sufficiently humiliating, but slowly getting it back, I think.
That's good. Progress, that's good. No matter in what kind of way it forms. Progress is always good. I have some questions for the sage too, so I'm gonna go ask those.
I hope the answers aren't esoteric. And Athalor descends for spire.
Yeah, good luck with that one. All right, you walk
Mason
into
smile at that, but yeah, walk in.
You walk into the chamber where the sage has been conducting all of these. It's like a conference room, like a meeting room, high vaulted ceilings, polished floors, very finely appointed, beautiful as everything inside the spire is. And the sage is there with the gray hood of her cloak drawn up, the wispy sort of silk veils that surround her. Her lantern sits hooded on the table next to her.
Mason walks in, kind of lightly knocks at the door, kind of like waiting for an invitation to further go in.
Enter.
Just walk in kind of quietly, sit down. Is now a good time? Some things came up in relation to what we've been talking about.
Yes.
Okay, Mason lets out a couple deep breaths, tries to remember everything, and says, I was just using the restroom as normal one day, and I caught a reflection of something that seemed weird in the mirror, and it wasn't myself what was behind me. It showed me something else. It showed me someone down in the refugee camp by the name of Kepesk. And they were talking with another figure. I didn't make out all of the conversation. But then it showed me something different too, and people who was like talking or kind of chanting this old prayer. And Mason would repeat as much of the prayer as he remembered, and so there was like a wall that they were all facing. It had carvings, archways. There was 7 of them. I think it reminded me of the Silent City. Seemed very related to that. And then would fill her in on any rest of the details that I'm missing. But
All right. After she hears everything, she waits for a moment, probably too long of a moment, rises to her feet, lifts the lantern with one delicate arm, and then says, show me the mirror.
like
And
to
it's gonna-
go to the place.
And she's going to ask you to lead her by magic carpet all the way back to Tarsalmore to the freaking bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, basically like, okay, not what I expected, but sure. Sure, yeah, and lead her to the exact mirror. And when he gets there, probably not look at it, but just like gesture towards like, it's that mirror, and like be looking away from it.
All right. She holds up her lantern. She uncovers the lantern, and the rippling blue light shines forth. And she's going to go ahead and look around. Thank you, chat. It was in Volstebor, so it's in the coffee shop, not in Tarselmore. It was during the whole accidental mega double ultra date.
True.
And she'll reflect it, and she'll take a moment just staring at herself in the mirror for a long moment.
I think curiosity will kind of get the best of Mason eventually, and we'll peek towards the mirror to see like what she's doing, what she's up to, if it's doing anything.
She's simply staring, and the moment that you turn around to see her, you catch your own reflection, and immediately she looks there. And in your eyes, it is as if your eyes in the real world are small mirrors themselves. And you get that repeating hall of mirrors back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the light from her lantern ripples and reflects infinitely all the way back and forth.
For a couple of moments, Mason like steps closer when he's like first trying to figure out like, oh, what is this? And realizes it's kind of like what it is. And then after a few more moments, we'll avert his eyes again.
Okay. She shutters the lantern, takes a moment and looks at you. Has this ever happened before, Mason?
What? Okay. That. No. With the reflection of myself being weird, yes, in the cave all those years ago that I told you about, but what was that? That was different.
She's going to lead you back out through the coffee shop, back to the flying carpet. And as you're making your way with the wind whipping past your ears, one of the few moments of privacy in all the academy, she says, listen to me very carefully, Mason. You are being stalked.
By whom? Or
By
what?
one of the entities that dwells beyond, on the other side of the mirror. It has followed you before, and it's still following you to this day. Such things serve, most of the time, they serve the Mirror Keeper amongst the Infernals, the Lord of false images and self-perception, of fragile egos. It is through no fault of your own that you may have come under its gaze, but you must exercise great caution.
If no fault, then reason? But what reason then?
There are many. The Mirror Keeper is cunning. The ultimate fate of those who are hunted down and stalked, they're dragged to the other side of the mirror, and the being that hunted them takes their place, steals their reflection, and walks in this world as them, with their memories, their abilities, but obeying the will of the Mirror Keeper instead. You have not already been replaced, but they have been following you for a very long time. Either a being has simply caught the scent of your reflection and craves its prey, but I fear this may be part of the greater design that the Infernals have arrayed against us. Anything you see in these visions, you must be careful, for even if it is true, it is shown to you by the hand of the enemy to advance the enemy's purpose. Do you understand?
I understand that, but if I was to be replaced, well, you said that I'm not, but would I even know if I was?
Oh, you would know. Because you would be watching your own life from the wrong side of the mirror.
And I'm to be careful, but what does that mean?
For the time being, do not touch a mirror with your bare skin. Do you understand?
Yes?
Whatever this predator that hunts you from the other side of the mirror is, it either can't or hasn't emerged to claim you. And if I'm right, the first time that it caught sight of you was years ago in your childhood. So either it's still waiting or it can't get you. Some condition hasn't been met. For the time being, do not touch any mirrors. I'm going to find a longer-term solution for this, some sort of warding amulet or binding spell. But mirror magic is dangerous and complicated. It's not my specialty. What you saw was real, though. I can assure you of that. And even if it was the Mirror Keeper's design that you should see it, I fear we may have to act on it nonetheless.
Is there... Okay, so I can't touch mirrors with my own skin.
Mm-hmm.
Looking in mirrors is still dangerous because
Yes.
I might see what they want me to see. And they want me to see these things for a reason.
And they hunt by reflection. So the longer that you're in front of a mirror, the longer that you're reflected, the longer they can watch you. I don't mean to add more fear to your life, Mason, but you must be careful. These creatures are subtle. These are not the beasts of the destroyer or the ravening hordes of the ruin that walks, or the constructs of the machine prince. The Mirror Keeper is cunning and subtle and lays webs that can take hundreds of years to take fruit. I will find a way to protect you. Until then, just be very cautious.
Okay. No mirrors. Okay.
Thank you for telling me. This is yet another move across the board for our foe. And it's better that I know about it.
Does this mean anything in relation to Athalor, Arianna, Garnet?
Yes. The designs of the Infernals ensnare all of them in one way or another, and it seems you've not been left out of that.
But you don't know why,
No.
do you?
I fear the serpent is the mastermind behind this entire scheme, bringing all of the cruel gods together to undermine us and undo us. And the serpent is a god of secrets, secrets that I am not even privy to.
One more thing. I imagine, from what I've heard, Alyxander was involved in all of this, and it seems like there's some weird feelings around him with the rest of the group.
I'm afraid so.
Do you know where he went?
I know he fled from this place to the underworld by the power of his new patron. That same power hides him from my view. I am searching for him. My light will pierce their glamours and their veils, but I can't look everywhere at once, and there are many, many threats all at once for me to handle.
Okay. In what I've learned, especially, well, I worry for all of them, but in that regard, for Garnet most, it seems.
She took it poorly. Betrayal upon betrayal. It would be good for you to be a friend to her, Mason. And to that end, I will find a way to seal you from the mirror world. The last thing that she needs is to worry about some doppelganger of you running around.
That's fair. I try to be a friend, an ear, some guidance, whatever I can be to them all.
Thank you, Mason. I will see to this at once. Was there anything else?
No, just that. Thank you.
Go in peace. And she'll resume her studies. Whatever it is that she's working now, suddenly researching all sorts of stuff about mirror magic and countermeasures. Garnet, do you meet Elnau in the crypt at midnight or somewhere else?
Yeah, the usual spot.
Okay. She's early.
Oh.
She's
So she
already...
probably
yeah,
arrives. She's there.
yeah, she's there when you get there.
Oh, hi.
Have you heard?
About...
The procession, the Bronthans.
Huh?
They've been halted.
What do you mean? What?
They've been halted.
By what?
Their entire procession. The dragon tribes. Unarmed people.
Are the Bronthans okay?
Yes, they're fine. Bothotlo and Vudazon and Kanar, unarmed, they've come out in swarms and great masses to block their way, refusing to let them pass.
Is there anything we should do about that?
I'm not sure yet. The people of Orcarthel are demanding justice for the blood that's been spilled in the last few years, but they're refusing to draw blood of their own accord. And the Bronthans aren't exactly going to go wading in, slaughtering the unarmed.
So maybe they'll go through some talks and that'll buy us some time. But
Yes, I think for the time being they can speak with each other, and unless things get violent, this is not our concern. This is not our business.
And what will you do when she does get here?
As acting headmistress, it's my responsibility to treat with any heads of state who arrive at the academy. To see them in the high council chamber, hear whatever their needs or demands may be, see to their needs and such. So I will greet them and accommodate them and see what they have to say.
Is she telling like the truth?
Yes, although obviously there's a something she's not saying, something she's avoiding, but she's being 100% honest.
And what will you do if she wants to take me by force?
No student of this academy will be removed by force while I am its headmistress.
And at what point were you going to tell me about being ordered to eliminate people who were going to stop my studies?
What?
It's in my records.
Several thoughts pass behind Elnau's head. A trail of emotions that she is far too used to at this point. Shock, surprise, anger, and resignation. She doesn't even ask how you got into the archives. She doesn't even ask how you opened all of those things. I don't know if I was, Garnet. I don't know when I was going to talk about that. I have never killed anybody on your behalf that you don't already know about.
And were you planning on killing my mom to keep me here?
No.
Is she telling the truth?
Roll insight. $15. She seems sincere, although she is angry and frustrated.
I think Garnet meets that emotion with just more sadness than anything, but a slight tinge of like, why didn't you tell me kind of anger.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of just stays silent after that answer and sees if she's gonna ask anything, but just takes a moment to think if she would actually do it or not.
I can't make your decisions for you, Garnet, all right? I can do my best to tell you what I think is best, to persuade you what I think is best, to try to take care of you and set you up for success as much as possible. But at the end of the day, I respect you. And I would not go against your will in something like that. Even if I thought it was the worst decision you could ever make.
Well, my trail of bad decisions maybe continue. And I have promised to not lie to you anymore. As I hope you would have done the same for me, but I saw Merrick yesterday.
Okay. How and why?
Went to the Silent City.
How?
Does it matter how?
Yes.
Through a dream?
Roll a deception check. You're not lying. You're not lying. So 20. Okay.
Regular old
Gilgeist.
dream.
She mutters Gilgeist under her breath and shakes her head and says, okay, why?
Because I wanted to see him and get closure on some things. Find out really how much he knows. She kind of takes a look around the room. Is there any kind of metal machinery bullshit that I
No.
should... Okay.
Elna has been particular about keeping this place clean ever since all that happened.
Okay. Once she looks around, and I found out a lot of things and know how he knows a lot more than I thought, and he told me a lot more than I thought he would. Everything about his relationship with the Machine Prince and the other Infernals, how he's watching
Wait,
over
what?
the academy and knows all of that stuff.
What relationship?
He's been, I don't know, he just calls them his sources or his tools. And
Yeah, that's Merrick.
he knows so much, even about Athalor and his relationship with the Hungry Dark or whatever, and knows about Arianna's past, and he wants me to open the gates of the Silent City and unleash the dragons of the world before to end the cycles of worlds and kill all the Infernals and keep training with him.
Elle now goes pale as you keep talking. It's a wonder that there's any blood left to drain from her face, and yet with each word, some capillary finds a way to lend an even more shocked and horrified glimmer to her face. And she sits down, shakily.
And how much does Garnet know that the last figure is Seosh or not? Or can she make like a reasonable guess that it is? Or is it just like a mummy?
It was a mummy, but it was like this clear, empty mummy. I think
because I guess she doesn't know what a Seosh even looks like, but she knows that he's not in the Silent City, not and in the Void. Maybe I think Merrick said he's in the Void, right?
I think Merrick was deliberately vague about where he is.
Okay, then I'll say that it's not. And I did meet. Okay, well, there's more. Merrick gave me a test and I passed it. I put on his mask. She kind of goes to describe what it kind of looks like. And it sent me to the Void, where I met a glass figure with whatever wrappings around it, spoke Void speech, and then what? And I died in the dream.
She is now hyperventilating.
Do I have my weighted blanket? I hand her my weighted blanket.
Do you carry that around with you to training?
Probably not. It's in my inventory, but if it's in my room, then
yeah, it's probably up in your room.
Just starts waving her hands. Breathe. Tries to calm her down.
Roll a persuasion check to see how effective you are at calming her down. 10.
Not very, very on brand.
It's okay. Seosh was pretty cool.
Okay.
And he knows Merrick knows you're looking for him and is hiding and knows you do not want to talk. Yeah.
He never told me any of this.
He told me a lot more than I was expecting to learn.
I am so sorry, Garnet. Whatever he had in store for me, he has 10 times worse prepared for you.
Worse?
Good spot for a break, right? Good spot for a break.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and take a break, folks. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more Book of Dawn, IOTH Academy. Don't go anywhere.